So what's in a heart? Both the ancient Jews and modern Westerners share their understanding of the heart. Different cultures have different ways of processing things, but the ancient Jews and modern Westerners, they share in this, that we say and speak about the heart as being the seat of the emotions, right? That I love you with my whole heart, or you broke my heart, or don't tell my heart, my achy, breaky heart. You did not find that as amusing as 945 did. But that the heart is the seat of the emotions, both for the ancient Jews and modern Westerners. And that the way that we conceive of people is that all that is good within a person or all that is bad within a person comes out of one's heart. You could even say that the heart is one's true self. This is why Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount, when he's talking about sin, he says it always originates in the heart. He talked about adultery and murder, but he says that all of those sins originate out of one's heart. If you lust after somebody, you've committed adultery in your heart. If you have been angry with somebody unjustly, you have murdered them in your heart. Why? Because it is from our heart that proceeds our actions. That's where it flows from. Jesus later would go on in Luke chapter 6, verse 45. He says, a good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart. And an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. So let's go back to the question I asked earlier. What's in your heart? Well, according to Jesus, what comes out of your mouth is a pretty good indication. That's terrifying, right? What comes out of your mouth? Is it blessings or is it curses? Or maybe it's both. Probably it's both. I would think most of us in this room are a walking bag of contradictions. That the good that we desire to do, the state of our heart or our true self, along with our actions, don't always line up, right? That sometimes, oftentimes, we get it wrong. And thanks be to God for grace when our heart is not as it needs to be. But here's the thing. God sees your heart. God knows your heart. God sees the good, the joy, the holy things that reside inside of you. God also sees the bad, the perverse, the dirty things that reside inside of you. God knows it all. God sees it all. And he still loves you. God sees you for who you are, and he doesn't run away screaming. God knows you better than anyone on this planet knows you. God knows you better than you know yourself, because you will spend the rest of your life trying to figure out who and what you are. God sees your true self and still desires a relationship with you. There are no secrets between you and God. You may try to keep them. God knows. God sees it all and still wants you. That is true intimacy. To be fully known by someone, and that someone to still want you. And that level of intimacy should lead to loyalty and fidelity and a reciprocation of the love that we have been shown. Knowing that God sees us for who we are and still loves us and calls us, we should fall more and more in love with God because of it. I mean, this is why we were created, to be fully known by God and to know God